Hi, my name's Helen. I run a small cottage bakery that I started from my home a year ago, and last month I vended at my very first market. Here's how it went. So I kind of signed up for this market on a little bit of a whim. I had no intention of doing any markets because I primarily make my income from custom orders. I signed up for it and then I was like, oh my gosh, I literally have no supplies for this. First thing we had to do was get my table set up. I got almost all of my table set up from the thrift store. We kind of had like a God sent thrift day when we were looking for my setup because it was like we'd be walking around and I'd be like, well, it would be perfect if we found something just like this. And then my fiance would be like, oh, like this? And then like literally we'd find everything we need. I knew that the tables were gonna be this beautiful dark wood, which like is a beautiful base to start with. Like you really don't need anything, but I was like, I kind of want to stand out a little bit. So I decided I wanted a white tablecloth. And then I got like a really pretty lace one to put on top of that. I just love the look of lace. I'm obsessed with it like in my home too. I also knew I wanted to draw people to my table by having some kind of height. So I also made a couple fake cakes. Well, I was going to make a couple fake cakes, but I just made one and then I happened to have another one. I just always have like this is a fake cake. I also knew I wanted kind of a more elegant setup. That's kind of the vibe of my branding in general. So I just went with like simple colors and I had some greenery just to make it pop a little bit. And another thing I made sure to account for was space for a gallery binder on the table. Because like I said, most of my income is actually from custom orders. And actually a lot of people came up and flipped through that binder. So when I was deciding what I wanted to sell, I originally thought I wanted to do bento cakes. I also knew I wanted to do cake cups. Bento cakes and cake cups is kind of redundant. So I decided to do cake cups and decorated sugar cookies. It was a Galentine's sip and shop. So I made heart-shaped cookies with like a vintage piping like shell border on the outside. They were really cute. So I'm happy I went with that. I only had those two items. I wanted to keep it pretty simple, and then among my cake cups, I only had 4 flavors, I think. Yeah, I only had 4 flavors. I was kind of treating it as like a tasting, so I wasn't really prioritizing having like a bunch of different things on my table. Another thing I had to decide was packaging. I wanted to make sure that people actually could comfortably buy multiple and still shop around. I actually got square shaped cake cups and I bought paper bags that were like the perfect size to fit 2 of the cake cups side by side, and they did not move around at all. It was super secure and it was tall enough that like people could actually buy up to 6. Nobody did buy 6, but sometimes people bought 3 or 4. I'm really glad I did that. And I also unboxed some bunting that my mom made from scratch that I used for my table, and it was like the cherry on top of my display. It just like tied everything together and actually was the only thing on my table that had my business name. So to advertise for this market, I basically just posted on my Facebook, but I don't have a lot of followers on my Facebook, so I was kind of relying on everyone else to market it. I don't think I played a very big part in increasing traffic, but that's okay. I don't think anyone was expecting that of me anyway. So the final thing I had to do to prepare for the market was actually make everything. So I was able to do the cookies a few days in advance. I could have done it even more in advance, but I like to procrastinate. I actually don't like to procrastinate, but I do. Heat sealed cookies last a very long time on the counter and then even longer in the freezer. So I made those in advance. I would have made them even more in advance if I did it again. And that is because I did almost everything else in the 24 hours before my market. It was so chaotic. I literally regret it completely. So I was like scrambling to get everything ready in time. I don't know if this makes me look bad as a business, but hey, it's like the real life behind the scenes. So I had not printed out any labels. Luckily, I had already designed all the labels, but I hadn't formatted them for printing or anything like that. So I had to recruit my fiance, and then our printer died like hours before I needed to be ready. So he went and bought us a new printer for this. It all got done in the end, but next time around, I'm not doing that again. At least that's what I tell myself. So then it was time to actually go to the venue. I arrived for setup like almost as early as they allowed me to. Check this out.
Very Valentine's. Here's my table. Then we got put in front of this really nice, like, succulent wall. That's what we're talking about. Yep. So, got like an hour or something, I think, until we start.
I did record the setup video, so I'm gonna show you guys that. And then we were ready. So we opened at 4 and we got our first sale at 4:45. I wasn't feeling discouraged though, because I knew that sweet treats were gonna be something that people were gonna go for more like after dinner time, which was how it ended up being. So like I said earlier, I really wanted people to order multiple cake cups. That's why I got that specific packaging. But another way I kind of encouraged that was by having a deal for buying multiple. So it was 1 for $6, 2 for $11, and 3 for $15. A lot of people would walk up and be like, oh, well, we can get one more for $15. And so yeah, it was effective actually. So yeah, like I said, we were kind of getting steady customers and people were coming and buying multiple of things, and it was picking up the later and later it got because I guess people had eaten dinner. There was also a lot of traffic coming through the venue just because they had an open restaurant and live music as well. The market was 4.5 hours, and by the end of it, we only had 2 vanilla cake cups left and some cookies, but I care more about the cake cups.
Okay, so this is all we have left. Just a few more cookies, 2 vanillas left, but everything else is completely gone.
Now let's get into how much money I actually made. I sold 52 cake cups and 28 cookies, and that all totaled up to $341.44. That number felt really nice at the market at the end of the night, but we have to take out the amount of money I spent on ingredients and packaging to determine the profit. So I spent $133.41 on ingredients and packaging, and there was also a $50 vendor fee. So that means my total profit was $158.03. This might not seem like a lot of money to you, but I feel good about that number. I'm just glad I made a profit. However, if I include what I spent on decor, the cash box I had to buy, the square reader I bought, then I actually lost money. On all of those extra things, I spent $291.96. So if I include that, I lost $133.93. So was my market even really worth it? Yeah, if I did another market, I wouldn't have to buy those supplies again, so I would just be making that profit number. But also, even if I didn't do another market, I think I gained valuable connections. I talked with a few prospective customers, and I think that will pay itself off in the future. So even though technically I lost money, wait, does that mean this title was clickbait? I don't know. But even though technically I lost money from doing this market, I gained value from the connections that I made. And also, I think it was just a really valuable experience to be had. So if you're a business owner kind of in a similar situation to me, I encourage you to just jump on any opportunity you get. Also, it's not always about the numbers and the profit. Sometimes what you gain is not necessarily monetary. Jump on whatever opportunities you can, and you will see growth in your business. Even if you don't think you're ready, you're never gonna feel like you're ready. You just have to do it. I started doing cake classes in December. I knew that I was gonna do them at some point in the future. That just seemed like a distant thing for me. But then I had an opportunity and I took it, and I didn't feel ready. Honestly, I did not feel ready. I was like, oh my God, like, this is happening already? Or like, are we sure about this? But I did it. It was amazing. And now I just do cake classes, and it's the best thing ever. You just have to trust in yourself and trust in your abilities. Just tell yourself, like, I can do it. It's scary. I don't feel ready, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Put yourself out there and trust in yourself, and you will see results. I hope this video inspired you if you're a fellow business owner in a similar position, or if you're an aspiring business owner, or maybe you've been doing business for longer than I have and you just think this is cool. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is actually my first long form YouTube video. So I guess I hope you like my first video. I literally don't have any home decor. So I just gathered all of our decor and put it in this one spot. These plants were not here. My cake was not here. These paintings I did were not here. Yeah, I need to decorate more. See you in the next video.